all of you please like, share, subscribe. So when we talk about the solid crystals, we say that they have a definite shape, they possess a definite structure as molecules and atoms which are compactly packed in them. They possess a repeated arrangement called unit cell. Some unit cells have imperfections. The irregularities or interruptions in regular pattern of a crystalline solid are called crystallographic defects. So, these crystallographic defects can be of different types, and these are called as defects in crystals. Number one, it can be either one constituent particle leaving the crystal, or you can see one constituent particle occupies the interstitial spaces. These crystallographic defects are of two types. Number one, point defects. Number two, line defects. So what are point defects? So those defects in a crystal which occur around an atom or a particle are called point defects. These defects occur at a single lattice point. So look at the animation over here. So these defects are called as point defects. Now line defects, dislocation or linear defects around which the atom of a crystal lattice are misaligned. Kind of defects are called as line defects. So let's look at the animation over here. This is called entire line defect. We concentrate mostly on the point defects. So point defects are of two types. One is stoichiometric defects and other is non-stoichiometric defect. Now what are stoichiometric defect? So these compounds which the stoichiometry of the compound is not disturbed either by dislocation or vacancies or addition of constituent particle are called stoichiometric defect. After defect is caused, they obey the law of definite proportion and law of conservation of mass. Such kind of defects are called as stoichiometric defects. Non-stoichiometric defect. The defect in the crystal which disturbs the stoichiometry of the compound or a crystal are called non-stoichiometric defect. That means the shape is lost sometimes. Stoichiometric defects are observed in two types of solids. One is non-ionic solids and the second one is ionic solids. So stoichiometric defects in non-ionic solids are two types. Number one, vacancy defect. Number two, interstitial defects. Now, in vacancy defects, what exactly happens is there will be a constituent particle which is missing from its place, as you can all see over here. There is a constituent particle which is missing from its place. Now, when a constituent particle which is left from its space, that means that leads to a decrease in the density of the crystalline solid and mass of the crystal decreases due to vacancy, but the volume of the crystal remains unchanged. On the other hand, in interstitial defects, some particles occupy the interstitial site in the crystal. That is, you can see over here a new particle which has occupied the space in between the spaces, and it has changed the structure, but the entire stoichiometry is maintained at the same level. There is no change in any of the structure. So this interstitial defect will lead to the increase in the density of the crystal. Hence, the mass of the crystal is increased due to the addition of particles, but the volume remains unchanged, so the density increases. Now we'll look at the stoichiometric defect of ionic solids. In ionic solids do not show simple vacancy or interstitial defect. This is because they have to maintain electrical neutrality. So instead, ionic solids show Frenkel defect and Schottky defect. Firstly, we'll look at Frenkel defect. In Frenkel defect, smaller ions are dislocated from the lattice site to the interstitial site. That is, so the smaller cation moves from its place to the interstitial site. This is called dislocation effect. This is called dislocation effect. It causes both a vacancy defect and interstitial defect. It causes a vacancy defect as the cation leaves the original lattice point vacant. It causes interstitial defect as the cation is dislocated into the interstitial sites. It has no effect on the density as there is dislocation of cation inside the crystal only. Electrical conductivity is increased due to presence of vacated lattice sites or holes allow passage of electrical current. Frenkel defect is shown by ionic substance with large difference in the size of the ions. Now we will move on to the Schottky defect. In this type, it is a type of vacancy defect in which the number of missing cations and anions are equal. The number of missing cations and anions are equal in order to maintain the electrical neutrality. So Schottky defect, now let's look at this animation. So you can find over here is there is a cation, so there is an anion and a cation which leaves from its space. Schottky defect leads to the decrease in the density of the crystal. Vacancy of ions from the crystal structure leads to a decrease in mass, but the volume remains same. Schottky defect is shown by ionic substances in which the cation and anion are almost similar sizes. Non-stoichiometric defect. This defect will change the ratio of ions in the solids. The number of cations and anions will not reflect as stated in the chemical formula. These are mostly called as metal excess defect. Surplus metal ions in the space lattice. More metal ions in the space lattice. It can happen in two ways. Number one, anionic vacancy, and number two, extra cation. Now, let's discuss about anionic vacancy first. So, anionic vacancy, an anion may be missing from its usual positions in the unit cell. This empty space will be occupied by an electron in order to maintain electrical neutrality. The space that the electron invades is known as F center, and the F center is what gives the compound a color. So, this one is called as the F center. This one is called as the F center. Now let's discuss about extra cation. On being heated, many compounds result in having an extra cation. These cations fit in the interstitial spaces. These cations fit in the interstitial sites. So this is an extra cation present over here. To balance this extra cation, an extra electron is added to it. Why? To maintain the electrical neutrality. Doping. So before going to further topic, let's discuss one important term that's called as doping. So doping is nothing but adding impurities. Doping is nothing but adding impurities to chemically pure non-conductor or insulator, and to make it a good conductor of electricity is called doping. And that pure substance, non-conducting substance, is silicon, which is of group 14, and it has a valency is equal to 4. Valency of 4, that is, it has 4 electrons present on the either side. On the outermost shell, it has 4 electrons present on the outermost shell, that is valence shell. A non-conductor is being converted to conductor and we call it as semiconductors. We call them as semiconductors. So what are semiconductors? Semiconductors are go between conductors and insulators. These are the solids that have ability to conduct electricity through them, but only under certain conditions. And these conditions are energy, that is heat energy, and impurities. Heat energy and impurities. There are two types of semiconductors: intrinsic semiconductor and extrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductors, impurities are not added, that is, they are known for undoped semiconductors. They are not doped. Hence, we apply thermal energy to the material and create vacancies in valence bands which allow the energy to pass through. Then the conduction continues. The conduction of electricity will continue. These conductors are nothing but intrinsic semiconductors. Now let's discuss about extrinsic semiconductor. So these are the semiconductors which are doped. What do you mean by doped? They have certain impurities to increase the conductivity of the material. And these extrinsic semiconductors are of two types. One is N-type semiconductor and other is P-type semiconductor. N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor. So silicon is a non-conducting material doped by arsenic or boron, which induces electron movement because of presence of an extra electron. Boron, which creates a vacancy and assists in the movement of the electron, thereby conducting electricity. So if I say N-type, N-type is nothing but arsenic or phosphorus which has a valency 5 is doped to the silicon which has a valency of 4. This induces electron movement. If I say P-type semiconductor, it means it is doped by boron or gallium, whose valency is 3, is doped to silicon which has a valency 4 and creates a vacancy which helps in the movement of the electron. So this is the method where we are able to convert a non-conductor or insulator into a conductor, and this method is nothing but doping. Thank you all. Thank you for listening to my video, and I hope you all like it. Please like, share and subscribe to my video. Thank you. Bye-bye.